Hello everyone, today we are talking about sharks, its myths, misconceptions, and the truth of the ocean's apex predators, the enigmatic world of sharks. Sharks have roamed the oceans for over 400 million years, surviving mass extinctions and adapting to a myriad of environmental changes long before humans ever appeared on the scene. Yet despite their ancient lineage and ecological importance, sharks have become some of the most feared creatures on Earth. In popular culture, they are often depicted as bloodthirsty man-eaters, a characterization that has led to deep-rooted misunderstandings and an unfounded aura of terror. This image is starkly at odds with the scientific reality. Most shark species pose little threat to humans and play crucial roles in maintaining the health of marine ecosystems. The modern fear of sharks is not solely the result of natural behavior or biology. Instead, it is a product of centuries of myth-making, sensationalized media portrayals, and cultural narratives that have transformed these ocean predators into symbols of danger and savagery. Even today, despite significant advances in marine biology and conservation, many people continue to hold distorted views about sharks. These views are fueled by a combination of historical prejudice, limited direct human-shark interactions, and an imbalance in the portrayal of shark incidents compared to the reality of these encounters. In this essay, we will explore why sharks are misunderstood. We begin with a historical overview, examining how cultural and literary influences shaped early perceptions of sharks. We then turn our attention to the role of modern media and Hollywood in reinforcing myths and fears. The discussion moves on to a detailed analysis of shark biology and behavior, contrasting common misconceptions with scientific facts. Finally, we address the crucial topic of conservation, exploring how misperceptions have hindered efforts to protect these vital marine species and what the future may hold as attitudes shift. By understanding the complex interplay between myth and reality, we can begin to see sharks not as monstrous villains, but as integral components of a balanced marine ecosystem, creatures deserving of both our respect and protection. As we journey through the multifaceted world of sharks, we will learn that the fear they evoke is less about the animals themselves, and more about the human imagination and its propensity to turn the unknown into something to be feared. Historical perspectives, the roots of misunderstanding. Long before the age of modern science, coastal communities around the world had their own stories and legends about the creatures lurking in the deep. In many ancient cultures, sharks were both revered and reviled. For some, they symbolized the mysterious power of the ocean, a force to be both respected and feared. In other traditions, sharks were seen as ominous creatures, portending doom or misfortune. These early interpretations were shaped by limited first-hand knowledge, with most people relying on second-hand accounts and folklore to form their opinions about these predators. For instance, in certain Pacific Islander cultures, sharks were seen as spiritual beings connected to the ocean's vast, unknowable depths. Rituals and taboos arose surrounding encounters with sharks, reflecting a deep ambivalence toward these creatures. At the same time, ancient Mediterranean cultures often depicted sea monsters in their art and literature, creatures that bore little resemblance to the real, biologically diverse sharks of the ocean. Instead, they were amalgams of various threats, a symbolic embodiment of nature's fury rather than accurate representations of any one animal. These early stories laid the groundwork for the enduring dichotomy in how sharks are perceived as both sacred and sinister. The narratives that emerged were not based on rigorous observation or scientific inquiry, but on the human need to explain and control the natural world through myth. Over time, these stories evolved and were passed down through generations, creating a deep-seated cultural memory that continues to influence modern perceptions. The literary and artistic portrayals of sharks further cemented their reputation as fearsome creatures. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, explorers and naturalists began documenting encounters with sharks in a more systematic manner. However, even these early scientific accounts were often imbued with sensationalism, as writers and illustrators were eager to capture the public's imagination. Exaggerated tales of massive, man-eating sharks became common in newspapers and adventure novels, feeding into a growing mythos of the ocean's deadly predators. One influential factor was the lack of comprehensive, accurate illustrations of sharks. Early drawings were often based on incomplete specimens or second-hand descriptions, leading to inaccurate depictions that emphasized ferocity over biological reality. In many cases, the danger associated with sharks was amplified by the human tendency to anthropomorphize animal behavior, projecting human fears and emotions onto these enigmatic creatures. This era also saw the rise of so-called shark lore, where every sighting or encounter was recorded with a mix of scientific interest and horror. As these accounts proliferated, the public began to view sharks as monstrous anomalies, ruthless killers waiting to strike unsuspecting swimmers and sailors. This narrative was powerful and persuasive, reinforcing a cycle in which fear led to further sensationalism, and sensationalism in turn deepened the fear. Even in early scientific studies, there was a tendency to misinterpret shark behavior. Many of the behaviors that are now understood as natural predatory strategies or territorial displays were once seen as evidence of inherent aggression and malice. For example, the infamous bite-and-release behavior observed in some species was once thought to indicate a desire to attack humans. In reality, this behavior often represents an exploratory response. Sharks use their mouths to investigate unfamiliar objects, much like humans might touch something to learn more about it. Furthermore, the fact that sharks have evolved as apex predators has been misinterpreted as a sign of inherent bloodthirstiness. In the natural order of the ocean, being a top predator is not about savagery for its own sake. It is a role that ensures ecological balance. By controlling the populations of other species, sharks help maintain the health and stability of marine ecosystems. However, this essential ecological function has often been overshadowed by the image of the man-eater propagated by cultural myths and media narratives. The historical misconceptions about sharks continue to influence modern attitudes. The idea of the shark as a relentless killer has become deeply embedded in the collective consciousness, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. This legacy is not merely an academic curiosity, it has real-world implications for how we interact with and conserve these animals. When a creature is broadly perceived as dangerous and unworthy of empathy, the impetus to protect it diminishes. As we will see later in this essay, these early misconceptions have had lasting effects on shark conservation efforts. In summary, the historical roots of the misunderstanding surrounding sharks are multifaceted. They stem from a blend of ancient folklore, literary exaggeration, and early scientific misinterpretations. These elements combine to create a narrative of the shark as an otherworldly predator, one that is both revered and reviled. Understanding these origins is essential to appreciating the complexity of our relationship with sharks and sets the stage for a deeper examination of how these misconceptions have been perpetuated in the modern era. Biological realities: understanding shark behavior and ecology, the diversity of shark species. One of the major reasons for the widespread misunderstanding of sharks is the oversimplification of a highly diverse group of animals. There are over 500 species of sharks, ranging from the small, harmless dwarf lantern shark to the massive, imposing great white. Each species has evolved to occupy a specific ecological niche, and their behaviors, diets, and physical characteristics vary dramatically. Yet public perception tends to paint all sharks with the same broad brush. For example, while the great white shark has been demonized as a ruthless predator, many other species, such as the whale shark and the nurse shark, are relatively docile and pose little threat to humans. The differences in behavior among species are often overlooked in popular discourse, which tends to focus on the most dramatic and dangerous examples. As a result, the incredible diversity and adaptability of sharks are lost in a monolithic portrayal of the shark as a singular, uniformly aggressive creature. Sharks are apex predators, and like all predators, they are equipped with specialized adaptations that allow them to hunt efficiently. Their keen senses, streamlined bodies, and powerful jaws are all designed for survival in the competitive environment of the ocean. However, these adaptations are frequently misinterpreted as evidence of inherent cruelty or unprovoked aggression. In reality, shark behavior is primarily driven by instinct and the need to secure food. Many shark attacks on humans are believed to be cases of mistaken identity. Sharks may confuse a surface silhouette with that of their natural prey, such as seals. Once the error is realized, most sharks release the prey without further incident. This behavior suggests curiosity or exploratory probing, rather than an unbridled appetite for human flesh. Scientific studies have shown that sharks generally avoid humans when given the opportunity. The energy expenditure involved in attacking a large unfamiliar object, such as a human, is not evolutionarily advantageous. Instead, sharks are more likely to focus their predatory efforts on species that contribute to the natural balance of the ecosystem. Unfortunately, this nuanced understanding is often lost when isolated incidents are sensationalized in the media. Ecological roles and the importance of sharks. Sharks play a critical role in maintaining the health of marine ecosystems. As apex predators, they regulate the populations of other species, ensuring that no single species dominates the food chain. This regulation helps maintain biodiversity and prevents the overpopulation of certain species that could lead to ecological imbalance. By preying on the weak, sick, or old, sharks also help remove unhealthy individuals from populations, which in turn strengthens the gene pool of their prey species. The removal of sharks from an ecosystem can have dramatic consequences. Studies have shown that overfishing and the depletion of shark populations can lead to a phenomenon known as trophic cascade, where the loss of a top predator results in the unchecked proliferation of certain species. This imbalance can ultimately damage coral reefs, seagrass beds, and other critical marine habitats. The ecological services provided by sharks are essential not only for the ocean, but also for the human communities that depend on these ecosystems for food, tourism, and coastal protection. Social structures and reproductive behaviors. Contrary to the stereotype of the solitary, mindless killer, many shark species exhibit complex social behaviors and reproductive strategies. Some sharks are known to form loose aggregations, and there is evidence that certain species may even exhibit social hierarchies or cooperative behaviors. For instance, the lemon shark has been observed forming stable social groups where individual sharks recognize one another and interact in a manner that suggests a level of social complexity. Reproductive behaviors in sharks are equally diverse and fascinating. Sharks employ a range of reproductive strategies from oviparity, which is egg-laying, to viviparity or live birth, and even ovoviviparity, where eggs hatch internally. These strategies are finely tuned to the specific ecological conditions of their habitats. The misinterpretation of these reproductive methods as evidence of ruthless efficiency fails to capture the intricacies of shark life cycles and the evolutionary pressures that have shaped them. One of the most persistent and damaging misconceptions about sharks is the notion of the shark attack as a common, indiscriminate occurrence. In truth, shark attacks on humans are exceedingly rare, and fatal encounters are even less frequent. According to global statistics, the number of human fatalities attributed to sharks each year is minimal when compared to deaths from other causes, including drowning, lightning strikes, and even dog bites. Most documented shark attacks occur in situations where humans inadvertently enter a shark's territory or where the animal is startled. In many cases, the attack is a case of mistaken identity rather than a deliberate predatory act. After an initial bite, sharks typically disengage once they realize that the prey is not their usual target. And the disproportionate focus on these rare incidents has contributed to an inflated perception of risk, making sharks appear far more dangerous than they truly are. Studying sharks in their natural habitat presents numerous challenges. Their wide-ranging movements, the vastness of the ocean, and the elusive nature of many species make it difficult for researchers to gather comprehensive data. This scarcity of first-hand observations has, in turn, allowed myths and misconceptions to persist. Advances in technology, such as satellite tracking, underwater cameras, and genetic analysis, have begun to shed light on the true behaviors of sharks. Yet public knowledge has not always kept pace with these scientific discoveries. As research continues to reveal the subtle complexities of shark behavior and ecology, it becomes increasingly clear that many of our long-held beliefs about these creatures are based on outdated or inaccurate information. The disconnect between scientific understanding and public perception underscores the need for better communication and education regarding the true nature of sharks. This is what we could collect about sharks. For more details, please leave your comments and we will try to explore more. If you like our work, please like, comment and subscribe.